welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Core Class Rumble. Let's start off by taking a look at the packaging, and then we will get into the review. So up front we have Transformers. On the side we have the Transformers the movie logo. We have a Decepticon symbol. We have Studio Series. So we have Decepticon Rumble Blue. We have the Hasbro logo. On the side, of course, we have a really nice close-up shot of Rumble with his face looking very cool with the glowing red visor. We have Studio Series, a Decepticon symbol. He is a Core Class figure. On the top here, of course, a Transformers Generations logo to Karatomi. A really cool shot with Rumble and his pile drivers and his blasters on the back, and Studio Series as well. On this side, another close-up of Rumble with his really cool pile drivers or hammers, and on the back he transforms in 9 steps from his robot to cassette player mode. There's 3 product shots, one of the robot with the blasters, one with the hammers, and one in the cassette player mode, and that is pretty much it for the packaging. So let's now get into the review. Here we have Rumble in his robot mode. Let's take a look at the details, starting at the very top with that head sculpt. Some really nice silver for the face, really nice red for that visor, and some really nice purple for the main helmet section with some turquoise blue for the shoulders. And I really do like all of the circuitry detailing done in this nice silver. It's really nice highlights, some more silver for the crotch, and a really small Decepticon symbol for the stomach. And of course the base color of the chest is done that really nice purple, some more purple for the forearms, and the fists pretty well sculpted for how small they are. And of course getting down to the leg, some really nice turquoise blue at the top of the leg and near the knee area, and of course the rest of the leg done with some really nice red, yellow, and white for the feet. And I also really do like how they created this really cool effect of this almost looking like a sticker. It actually looks like you could peel it off, but it is not a sticker, so that's a pretty cool vintage thing they created there. My only complaint with this robot mode is unfortunately there's these really ugly pins at the top of the legs, which unfortunately you can change it if you rotate this section around. And of course, since the this section is on a ball joint, you can just move it forward, but if you do, you'll actually be left with smaller pins but bigger gaps at the leg. So you really have to pick, do you want gaps or big pins? So I'm just going to choose this side because I do think it is the better of the two options. But detail wise, I'm actually pretty impressed with how much detail is on such a small figure. Let's now get down to articulation. So because this is such a small figure, there is very little articulation. I will make several core class comparisons. This is a core class figure, but size-wise, it is not a core class. You're really paying for the accessories, unfortunately. So articulation-wise, the head can look back and forth. There is a move side to side. The arm is on a ball joint and a hinge, so you can actually hinge this up. A very tight one. That's really due to transformation. Of course, the arm can move all the way around and out and in. There is no waist rotation. The wrist, no wrist rotation, but you can actually move the hand in if you want to for a more dynamic pose, but that's really due to transformation. Let me just move the arms out of the way. As for the legs, they can kick that far forward, that far back to a pretty good degree, and that far out, so you can do the full splits. No ankle pivots. There is also a knee bend to a pretty good degree. And of course, if you want to, you can actually collapse the toe for a more dynamic pose. And also there is a slight rotation at the knee if you want to, a slight swivel there, because it is on a ball joint, but you do have to put it at some certain poses to do that. And that is pretty much it for the articulation. So a lot less articulation than an average core class figure like Iguanus or any Studio Series figure like Ratchet or Wheelie because of the size. So you are, again, really just paying for the accessories. So let's now get down to a few comparisons, and then we're going to get into accessories. So first up, here he is with the Siege Rumble. So again, if you don't know, in the Siege line, they actually released a version of Rumble and Frenzy, but in that line, they actually referred to the red version as Rumble and the blue version as Frenzy, and it got everyone really confused with these releases now in the Studio Series. That's why it says blue on the packaging for this figure, just to let you know that the blue one is Rumble and the red one is Frenzy. So here they are together. As you can see, size-wise, they are pretty close, but definitely a lot more detail on this release. This is actually in a 2-pack. It came with I'm pretty sure Rat Bat, so that was in the Siege line, and Frenzy came on a 4-pack, which I'll bring out in just a second. But as you can see, much more detail on this one. You can actually have fists on this modern day version. They were just really pegs here. But again, size-wise, pretty close. They both do transform into a cassette, which can fit into the Siege Soundwave. If you have Netflix Soundwave, you can do that, or you can put it in the new Legacy redeco of Soundwave. And of course, the new one, the Shatterglass line, I'm assuming that will also be compatible. But as you can see, they look pretty similar, and mold-wise, they're actually very different. There is some similarities where the arms are concerned. They both are on ball joints, so there are some similarities there. The legs, I would say, are probably where it's most similar. Of course, he actually does have feet on this one. These are really just little sculpted in feet, so much more detail there, but the size and kind of sculpt of them are a little bit similar. If you do get close enough, you can actually tell they're slightly similar in sculpt and size, but overall, I vastly prefer this one because this one didn't come with any accessories, no blasters, no hammers, and of course a lot less detailed. So definitely, I do think they improved with Rumble. Of course, he's actually the right color now, but the price, I really cannot justify $15 for that small of a figure. But let me take him off to the side, and here he is with Frenzy, or if you want to just call him Rumble, you can call him Rumble, but by the packaging, by, of course, online, this is actually Frenzy in the Siege line, so very confusing, kind of messes with your mind, but this one is the exact same sculpt as the previous one I just showed, but I just want to show them next to each other because they are the same color, but as you can see, overall looking pretty cool next to each other. And that's pretty much it for the Rumble/Frenzy comparison. Let's now take a look at the accessories. So he does come with 4 accessories. That's really what they're saying to justify the price of a core class figure. They're saying this is worth just as much as Iguanus or G2 Megatron or Shockwave from the core class scale, because, not because of the size, but because it comes with 4 accessories. Because most core class figures only come with 1. Some of them come with none. So I do agree, yes, 4 accessories is quite a bit, but I do not think it adds up to how much this is actually should cost. I think this should probably be about $9, maybe $8. That is just my opinion. But the accessory wise, he comes with 4. So he comes with 2 blasters. I'll show these first. They're just done in gray plastic, which don't look too bad. I kind of wish they were in silver just to keep apart from the feet, which are the same color. It does seem a little bit cheap to me that they're just gray. It seems like unfinished, unpainted, just like plain plastic. But that is just my opinion. So you can actually store these in 2 different ways. They can actually store on the forum. So there is a port and there is a peg on the blaster itself, so you can just plug that into place. So there he has his classic blasters, looking very cool. He typically does not actually have them on his forearm or hand, so I'm going to plug them on the back in just a second. That is more of his classic look. And that doesn't look too bad. I would have preferred for him to actually be able to hold them in his hands, but unfortunately, his hands are too small to actually plug a weapon in, and there's actually no port there. But not looking too bad for such a small figure. I'm not sure if they're Blaster Piece compatible, so if you get this figure, try that out and let me know in the comments. Let's just take these off of his forearms. So there is actually 2 ports on the back, and again, those same pegs you can use to plug into the back, which is definitely the more classic look of Rumble. Plug those in. Unfortunately, they're a bit loose. Sometimes they do pop off, so I'm going to be careful there, but that is more of the classic look. I actually really do like how they stick out his back. That actually looks pretty cool, in my opinion. And if you want more of a back view, you can see how they look there. And I think that actually looks really, really nice. And of course, his next accessories are the pile drivers, or the hammers. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually pretty disappointed that these do not compress or extend. I was really hoping they were. There was actually a rumor for a while that we were gonna get a Rumble and Frenzy, and I was assuming, of course, obviously that they would compress and extend. I never really even thought that they wouldn't. And recently I learned they do not compress or extend. They're stuck in this same position, which in my opinion is kind of disappointing. To some people, maybe they don't care because you're never really going to compress or extend them. I just think it's a really fun playable feature for them. So, kind of disappointed there, but how you implement these in is you're going to compress the hand like this, just fold them in, which is actually one of the same similar steps in transformation. You just fold these in like that, put the arms in a desirable pose, and you can have the blasters on the back and the hammers on the arms at the same time. You just use this slot and this arm and just plug that right into place like that. And of course you have to do the other because he's very side heavy right now, so just slide that into place like that. And these are actually very secure. I will give them that. So I will give them that they're very secure. They stay in place, but I really wish these could have maybe gone up and down or something. That would have been really cool. But there they are, and that's the full complete Rumble look, and I think it looks amazing. So much better than the previous Siege version. It didn't come with blasters, didn't come with hammers, not nearly as detailed. So I do think this is an improvement over the previous Rumble, but I don't think this justifies the cost of $15, and of course there could be tax and shipping. So I think this really should have been like 9, maybe 10 if you're pushing it. But overall, it does look very cool, definitely resembles Rumble. I think they definitely achieved the classic Rumble look they were going for. I'm not going to disagree with that, but again, price, I'm not too sure about that. But overall, looking very, very cool with the hammers. And as for the hammers, there's no other place to store them, unfortunately. And if you want to, you can actually store the blasters on the hammers if you want to, which I can actually show right now. Just to show you for storage-wise, I'm just going to put this down. So if you don't want him with the blasters or the hammers, there is a port and there is a peg. You can actually plug these in. So say he's maybe in the cassette mode, you can plug that in so you have less stuff off to the side, because you cannot also plug the blasters or the hammers into the cassette mode either, so you can just have them attached so there's less pieces that you could lose, which is kind of a nice feature. I'm not sure if that was their main intent of that port. Maybe that was just randomly there, I don't know, but it is compatible and I'm actually really glad that's an option. So let me just plug all of this back into place. So pretty good storage. I do know people are kind of bothered that the only way you can store the hammers is there, but you know, they're 2 giant pieces, so I really don't know any other place you could actually plug them in. But that is pretty much it for the robot mode and the details and articulation and accessories. Let's now get down to some more comparisons. Now for one last set of comparisons, here we have all the Soundwave classic cassettes next to each other. So we have Ravage, Rabat, Rumble, and Laserbeak. So I didn't bring out the Siege versions of Rumble or Frenzy because I already made that comparison earlier with the modern day version, so I really didn't think I need to bring them out again. But they overall do look very cool next to each other. And also I did want to mention something, so if you didn't know, in the Siege line, they actually packaged Laserbeak and Ravage together, and that was, I think, roughly about $10 or $12. And of course, this new Rumble is about $15 or $16, so I really don't understand the whole price. Yes, of course, they did not come with accessories, but size-wise, 2 of these combined probably makes that size there. So I really think what they should have done with this Rumble, it should have been a 2-pack like Ravage and Laserbeak. It should have come with Frenzy and Rumble, and it should have come with all 4 of their accessories, the 2 hammers and the 2 blasters, for Rumble and for Frenzy. And yes, that might sound like a lot for 15, but if they pushed it to 17, I think that definitely would have been worth it. And also, I think they should probably make some modern day versions of some cassettes. Yes, these are only for from 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe less, but a few of them are not my favorite. I think Laserbeak, they can keep it how it is. I always really like that Siege version of Laserbeak. I don't think they need to change it at all. Ravage and Rabat, I think they could definitely make a modern day version of. I liked the look of Rabat, but standing it was always such a pain. It actually fell over so many times when recording this, so I had to redo it a few times. Ravage, I just never really liked. I bought it because, of course, it was a 2-pack with Laserbeak, so I really didn't have much choice. And I didn't have any other G1 Ravage, so I just kept it, didn't want to sell it. So hopefully they'll make a modern day version, because I was never really impressed with that version of Ravage. So they definitely improved with Rumble, so if they just keep doing what they're doing at the classic look, many accessories, but just change the price to either be the same, like a core class size, but come with 2 figures, or just decrease it to $5 for just one Minicon, one Laserbeaker for $5. I think that would be worth it, and that is just my opinion. But that's pretty much it for my whole, complaints. So let's now get down to another comparison. Here he is with, of course, his master, or of course the main bot himself, Soundwave, and he looks very cool with the rest of his cassettes. Let me just move the camera up a tiny bit. There we go. And they do look very cool next to each other, and I would so looking forward to getting Frenzy. Yes, the price won't be good. Maybe they'll listen to us. Maybe they'll change it before it comes out, but I'm highly doubting that they're going to decrease it. I think it will be probably another $15 or $12, which is unfortunate. But again, they do look very cool. And that's pretty much it for this comparison and the robot mode. Let's now get down to a transformation into the cassette. Let's now get down to transformation into the cassette mode. So what you're going to do is get the minigun. You're just going to rotate the head around. That's just going to fill in the gap in the back. You can then get the arms, move these up like this, and then you're going to fold in the hands like this. Just fold it up, fold that up like that. And then you're going to collapse the feet, and then you're going to get the leg, rotate this around, make sure the pin joint again is facing forward. Do the same thing on the other side, so just rotate this like that, and there's tabs here, and there's a slot on both sides of the arm. Do the same thing on the other side, rotate, of course, the cassette around, and there we have the cassette fully complete. Overall, very simple and fun and transformation, and of course, let's now take a look at the details. I do have one minor complaint. This whole section here is very ugly. I really wish that was covered up, and if you're wondering what that is, that's actually the whole section, how the leg can swivel and move. I really wish they'd covered up. The pins, those are pretty small. That doesn't bother me, but the whole swivel or knob section there, I really wish they'd covered that up, but a very minor complaint for an overall very cute kind of vintage looking cassette. Actually a really nice reflective surface with some really nice blue and some more turquoise and purple of the top, and overall very nice looking side, some red, gray, and on the back. I actually really do like how this whole circuitry design works for both modes. This is actually the chest of the robot mode and actually really works in this mode. Some electronical detail, which is pretty nice, but overall very simple and a very cute looking cassette mode. And if you're wondering storage wise for the blasters, there's really no place. There is the ports on the front if you want to plug them there, but that does kind of ruin the look. Also, of course, the hammers, people have complained that you can't store them there, but that doesn't matter to me at all, because again, that would ruin the look. In any cassette, any mini-con, there's really no place to plug this anywhere for it to actually look good, so I was never assuming that would actually work for storage even before getting this figure. But let's now get into some cassette comparisons. So here he is with Frenzy from the Siege line. As you can see, looking pretty cool like each other, and size-wise, as you can see, pretty much the exact same thing. So it does, again, make you question the price, because they're roughly the same size. This one was like $16, and probably around the Siege line, these were about $12 for two of them. So, yeah, not too good there. Take him off to the side. Here he is with Rumble, and this was in a 2-pack, roughly, I would say, about $13. And, of course, there's inflation now, so you do have to put that into the whole bunch, and, back then, I think this, again, was about $13. It came with a wrap hat, and this one is Rumble. So, yeah, not the best. And size-wise, again, roughly the same thing. And for one final comparison, here he is with the classic Siege Laserbeak. I think they do look very cool next to each other. That's pretty much it for the core class comparisons. Now for one final feature or gimmick, if you want to call it, you can get out any Soundwave you have. I brought out Legacy Soundwave, so if you have Siege Soundwave, it should be compatible. Legacy Soundwave, as you see. If you have the Netflix one, I don't have that figure, so I wouldn't know, but assuming, I probably would think it is compatible as well, and I think the soon-to-be-released Shatterglass Soundwave will work as well. And what you're going to do is press this button on his chest. You can then make sure everything is tabbed into place, because you do not want to have anything being caught on the inner part. So you're just going to slide this into place like that. Just make sure everything is down and compressed. Let me just raise the camera up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, and then you're going to just close it up, and there it is. It fits in his chest. Unfortunately, the space is a little bit tight. As you can see, it doesn't fully close. There's sometimes a gap there, so, but overall, it looks pretty cool. Always a fun gimmick to put him in Soundwave. You can have him, like, eject out and transform, which is pretty cool. You can do some fun stop motions. Unfortunately, I've seen several reviews with this same complaints that, when you press the button, it does not open. It's kind of caught there, so you have to really open it yourself, which, doesn't really bother me, but yes, I would understand if it bothers some people, because it is one of the main gimmicks of the whole cassette. You compress it, and it opens, you know, completely on its own, so it does get a little bit stuck, which is kind of what I was expecting. But that is pretty much the last feature and, of course, comparison for the cassette player, or cassette mode. So let's now get down to the final thoughts for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Core Class. Let's now get down to the final thoughts for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Core Class Rumble. Let's start in the cassette mode. Overall, looking very cool, very vintage. I actually really do like how reflective and shiny it is. My one complaint is, unfortunately, you can see the whole swivel section, or like the main mechanical section where the legs swivel. Kind of hard to describe, but it looks really ugly. I wish they had covered that. Of course, most people complain that you can't store the accessories on the cassette mode, which I never expected that you could. You can sort of kind of store the blasters on the ports on the front. You can do it, of course, it does kind of ruin the look, and you will not be able to store the cassette in Soundwave's chest at all. It will be too big, so unfortunately you will not be able to do that. If you want to, you can actually attach the blasters to the hammers just to have less loose pieces lying around. There's those ports on the front right there. You can use the pegs from the blasters and plug them on there if you want less stuff loose, or you don't want to lose them, which is a nice option. And of course, there is the main feature where you can get Rumble and store it in Soundwave's chest, which does look good when he's closed up. Unfortunately, most people really wanted to be able to press the button and the door open really fast. You can just take them right out and do the whole, eject cassette thing, which unfortunately the cassette is a little bit too big and kind of has some friction and makes the door kind of stay shut. You have to like pry it open with your fingers yourself. It's not really completely automatic, so that is a bit unfortunate. It doesn't bother me that much because I typically don't even use that feature that much. Getting down to transformation, overall very simple. It's actually quite similar to the Siege version of Rumble and Frenzy. It's pretty similar. Of course, size-wise, actually, they are the exact same thing, which that does go down to the main problem of this entire thing, the price. It's like $15, which size-wise is nowhere near close to a core class figure. So unfortunately, people might think it's worth it because there's a lot of accessories. That's really the main thing. Some people think it's worth it because it comes with 4 accessories. Most even main figures like Voyagers and Deluxes don't even come with 4 accessories. So it really depends from your point of view. In my opinion, I don't think it's worth $15. I would say probably about $10 or maybe $9 in just my opinion. And getting down to the robot mode, overall looking very cool, very classic to the Rumble that we like from the G1 show. I think it looks amazing with the blasters on the back. You can also plug them on the forearm. Not my preferred look. It's an option if you want to. I would have really liked if you could get the blasters and plug them in his hands, but the hands are too small. There's no ports, but I really would have liked if they tried to work that in. Also, of course, you can attach the pile drivers or the hammers into his hands, which I think is a really cool look. Probably my favorite look is the blasters on the back and the hammers in his hands, the full weaponized look. I think that looks absolutely amazing, and it looks super cool with Soundwave next to him, and I'm really looking forward to Frenzy. Hopefully when they release Frenzy, the price is a lot less, or maybe comes with another mini kind. Maybe they do like a 2-pack or something, but my preferred, I really wish they had just done a double pack of Frenzy and Rumble, and it would be like $15. Not $15 for just one, but whenever it comes out, we'll see. I'm expecting it to be the same price, about the core class price, about $12 to $15, unfortunately, but I really think it should be about $9 or $10, but we will see. Maybe they listen to us and they change it, but let me know what you think of this core class figure in the comment section down below. I apologize, I didn't make any core class comparisons. I actually do not have any of my core class figures on hand at the moment, but I will be getting them back soon. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to have them in time to make this comparison for this review. So I do apologize about that, but I was able to make some other comparisons. Hopefully you enjoyed those as well. And of course, some of the reviews are coming soon, like Armada Starscream from the Legacy Wave 3, also Crankcase, so stay tuned for those. Let me know what you think about the price and the problems that I have about Rumble. Or do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it's worth $15? Do you not think it's worth $15? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I'm very looking forward to Frenzy, and that's pretty much it, so I'll see you.